All right, so we got, we knew coming into this session that there were going to be initially 4 of us, and there was a lot we wanted to talk about, and we knew that 25 minutes wasn't going to be enough time for 4 of us. So what we did is we've added 2 more people with a lot more to talk about. So now we have 6 people, and if you have a paper bag in the audience, there probably will be some hyperventilation happening later on. Just two points before I hand it over to kind of the first kind of actual content-rich piece. Obviously, we're going to be going very quickly here, by the way, so there will probably almost certainly not be time for Q&A at the end. So if something is burning, by all means, interrupt, interject, join the conversation as it's happening. Also, just keep in mind, we'll be here all week, folks, and I know that a couple of our presenters are actually planning some sort of guerrilla installation work that you'll be probably having foisted on you later on. 2 quick points. During whatever that was at the opening keynote this morning over Skype, Dr. Eng said that one of the reasons why Coursera couldn't be openly licensed or allow things like credentialing from external things was, well, they're spending all this money on the content. You know, you're spending these tens of thousands of dollars on these learning environments, so we need to have a monetization strategy. I think one thing that I think will bind the many disparate things we're going to be talking about over the next probably 24.5 minutes is that these are eminently sustainable, very inexpensive approaches that people can do on just about any budget whatsoever. And in fact, a couple of our speakers have put considerable effort to make infrastructure available to all of us. And I'm sure that we'll be hearing a bit of that. Then there's this piece here. This is a plagiarized slide from one of George's bits today. And I think really this is what I think binds together. We're going to be, again, all over the map here, very disparate types of initiatives. But again, I think that is the key to the puzzle in terms of creating sustainable, affordable education, whether it's open or not, or systems that are open, accessible, buildable, improvable, extendable, remixable, and yes, all those other pieces as well. With that, I will hand over to Will Engel from UBC.
Great, thanks for having me here today. We're representing 3 different institutions, 2 different countries, and I'm just excited to be part of an amazing group to speak today. I'm just really going to walk through a couple of quick case examples based on MediaWiki technology. So UBC is lucky. We run a institutional-wide MediaWiki installation. It looks like this. This is one of the more fun pages that exist there. Sort of just to give a little background on this project, UBC, a number of departments at UBC make their past exams available to students, so students can go in and look at the past exams, study off them, see the solutions. They wanted to scale this up and basically create an exam database. So, you know, often they're just being photocopied around or provided by instructors. So the way it worked often at our institution is they struck a committee. The committee went out and reviewed all these different databases, all these different projects. They got recommendations, and that process is still ongoing. Completely unbeknownst to them, another group on campus was also sort of looking at the same issue. There's a bunch of grad students in the Department of Mathematics, and they were often noticing students were coming with these old exams, and with solutions to those old exams, and having them work through it, and often they would notice mistakes in some of the solutions and issues. So they thought, is there a way we can provide access to not just an exam here or there, but to all of the exams, and in a way that's not just, here's the question, here's the answer, but try to engage with the students a little bit learning. So they went around to look at tools too, and they said, what does UBC have? And they're like, it has a wiki. Maybe we could put these exams on the wiki. Who do we need to talk to about doing that? And it turned out they didn't need to talk to anybody about doing it. They just logged in and they started building an exam database. So I'm just going to show a quick image of what it looks like. This is the Math Exam Resources Wiki, where they're putting up all of the first and second year exams. And their sort of idea was, okay, we're not just going to put the question, but we're also going to provide hints. So we're going to ask students to think about it and sort of work through, and then we're going to put the solution. So going a step advance. But what they really wanted is a way to improve the solutions, because often the solutions were having errors or they were written in a confusing way and students were having a lot of problems with it. So they basically thought the wiki was a perfect solution because anybody could come in and edit the answers. So they could look at and say, this doesn't make sense, I don't understand what's going on. Let's fix that, that's wrong. And what they discovered is, not only was that happening, students were coming in and saying, okay, well, I don't really get how you got that. And then the graduate student who's not being paid to do this would come in and say, here's the actual answer. So here's a platform that has both the listing of bars and pubs on campus, but is also a very much an engagement open resource that is not only living on the UBC Wiki now, but is being used by other facilities because it's CC licensed. The wiki supports easy distribution. You can take a script on any page and embed it to any website anywhere. Just to provide another example of how the wiki is being used, there's an instructor at UBC who had a course, and students were asking her, they would like access to her course materials after the course ended. She was using our campus LMS. After the course ended, students didn't have access to those materials. So she looked at the platforms, got some guidance, and did the UBC Wiki to put her course. So you can go in and see all of her course materials, all of her lessons. But what was really interesting about this is this drove what I would call student innovation. She had this bright idea. One of the projects she was doing in the course was to have students do posters. And basically what she discovered is after the assignment was done, after the posters were up, the students didn't care. Like, she had a stack of posters outside her door, they never collected them. And really only the instructor and the TA, maybe a couple other students in the class went and looked at the posters. So basically she said, what if I have them do the assignment on the wiki? It will be open, anyone in the world can look at the assignments, students' work will be valued, and they can basically contribute to the public knowledge about something. So it's a food and science course. Here's an example of a team project on the wiki. And what she found is, because the students were seeing that this was open, it was collaborative, they were getting feedback, the quality the innovation of the quality just went skyrocketed compared to the poster. So you'll see, like, she always likes to point out how many footnotes and references students are putting into their work, how well it's organized. She didn't give them any technical guidance on how to use the wiki. She just said, write a paper here. And students went out there. She then started saying, okay, well, it doesn't have to be just text. What if we implement the multimedia? So she asked students to make a quick video. Again, not giving them any technical advising. Students went in, made videos, and then put them into the wiki page. So instead of just maybe 3 or 4 people looking at this one page, which was from this term, has been viewed 737 times as of today. So it's getting out there. Sort of future implementations is she might have students look at the last year's class, and because it's a wiki, make improvements or make changes to those. So it's ongoing. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Novak a little bit, who's going to talk about a couple other projects at UBC. So generally what I would, and just to, well, we do some slide transactions. What's made this great is there's been no administrative overhead. Anyone can come in and create a page in our wiki, and it blurs the boundaries between editor, administrator, writer.
But how many tens of thousands of dollars would it cost to install MediaWiki and copy that map resource database over? How many tens of thousands of dollars would that be?
About a couple of beers, I would say.
Yeah. All right, Novak, do you want to jump in?
Sure, yeah. So yeah, if you can afford a couple of beers, I mean, in Canada it's actually much more pricey than...
Yeah.
Actually here it's kind of... So basically, Will was talking about creating content in Wiki, and it's great because let's say the following year, our instructor Julie could ask the new students as a very first exercise, hey guys, there is a fantastic resource here about green tea, but I don't really like these couple of things. So what do you think about it? Why don't you go ahead and actually improve that? So you can build this kind of sustainable model where the new students are coming in, improving already existing resources, making them better, and actually promoting themselves, the course, the university. It's kind of win-win-win on every level. A couple of concerns that kind of came with using Wiki. Unfortunately, there are still people that think that kind of a website with a, in quotes, proper look and feel and a lot of colors looks better than a wiki. And unfortunately, we kind of had to agree that in certain situations you really want to spice up a few things. So here's a model that actually works quite well. So we have a site here that is actually just in development, and because it was kind of handy, we thought we might use it and show it. So we have a content in UBC Wiki about soil web. And so that content is being republished here. So you have this nice looking website, you have all your navigation that you wouldn't have in Wiki kind of so well kind of defined, so you can actually talk to your audience. If I'm into soil web and I'm coming from somewhere else outside of UBC, I don't really maybe care about the rest of the content, I really want to find stuff well. So this is kind of putting those two worlds together nicely. And you know, the proof that is really good is that Jim Groom is actually using it. And he only contributes stuff like strikes and wiki embed and stuff like that. So it works really well, it's quite simple, it's extremely well integrated with WordPress, but it works with every other platform under the sun. So you can take your wiki content and republish it in any space. So if you want to see the source of this page, thanks Will, then you go here, and this is how it looks. If any of you guys have a soil scientist that would love to reuse this content, you can just point to these resources. They can completely seamlessly integrate it within their own course content or portal or professional site or whatever they find the use for.
What's the license on it?
License is still kind of undefined. We are working with UBC Legal. It's assumed Creative Commons license, and hopefully very soon it will be very clear Creative Commons licensed. So,
what are the issues that you're encountering around that?
Sorry?
What are the issues around licensing that you're encountering?
Well, it's just the kind of the whole idea of what does this mean, making sure that legal is happy with that, and all the supporting governing body at the university.
I made a huge strategic error when we launched the UBC Wiki. I decided, well, let's just get this thing off the ground and make it work, and we'll worry about licensing later, which allowed people within the administration to later go back and say, well, you can't retroactively change the license on content that people have already put in. So yes, if you do start an institutional wiki, which we're actually doing at TRU, yes, get your licensing, your site licensing in place when you begin. Here's a tip. But I think this will be resolved.
Yeah, UBC Legal, we just have to go through a process to do it, but it is going to be implemented shortly.
So basically, I'm running out of time. If I had to kind of send like one or two really strong points. One is, you can see the content here living on its own, and it's quite used, and it can be reused to within a more meaningful web spaces for different audiences. And I think that kind of notion of understanding what is the best user interface that you can provide to your audience, whether they're students, professional group, or whatever, and if you can reuse the same content from all these different places, that's a huge plus. And when we lock our content within enterprise systems like Blackboard or whatever, we just killed that opportunity. And to give you kind of an example, what's possible, I just have to find things here. Let's say we have something called This Changed My Practice. It's a portal for medical doctors to contribute in open the kind of particular moment in their medical practice that actually made them change their practice. And of course, because there is no free lunch, they're not doing it for free. It would be great to say, yeah, doing it for free. No, they get the professional development points, which is a good driver. It's an honest driver. They don't want to fly to some seminar and spend 2 days to get 2 credits. They'll actually contribute something in open. People will comment, connect about it. They're building open knowledge. They're sharing all the, last time I checked, the values the university was about. So it's a win-win situation. But this is only possible because we actually are using platforms that are possible to build these kind of experiences in. If you try to do this in LMS, it would be like a miserable failure. There would be nothing we could, do like similar to this. And for example, other kind of audience, again, built on the very same platform, is the card games. So here, we actually wanted to basically apply some of the principles some of the things that kids enjoy, let's say Pokemon cards, into learning about the actual living organisms and species. So this driver is different. They want to play cards, they want to battle, they want to share, they want to fight, they want to collect, and all these things that are working for that particular audience actually are made possible because we're using the open platform and it's capable and we're actually connecting to that audience, and otherwise, that wouldn't work. That simply wouldn't happen as good as here. And if you look at the content, this content might be coming from, let's say, Wiki. And as Will was saying, we could actually change Wiki to work like a relational database. You don't have to change, actually, it's working right now like that. So you could say, okay, for this particular, organism, give me this property. So you can kind of create these spaces in open, extremely flexible, and you can provide the best possible experience for your audience.
And just one concluding thought. Everything we've showed you from UBC are 2 platforms, one single MediaWiki installation, one single WordPress installation. So
over 20,000 student blogs and users, about 1,000 domain mapped websites like something.ubc.ca.
So the best exposure for university, the best promotion, the best marketing, the best way to engage students is to expose the work of the people at the university. And there are tools that are very simple to implement that are out there that can do that.
Maybe one more concluding thought, so far there, right? I just want to point out, there's a strong tendency in higher ed to kind of build these silos, to say, oh, this is communication and marketing, and this is professional development, and this is whatever, teaching and learning, or research, and they all build their own spaces, they all have their web people. And if I ask you now, what is this change my practice? Is this teaching and learning? Is this marketing? Is it professional development? It's all of the above. And basically the idea is, again, you cannot achieve that with the way we are sort of managing technology today. We just have to rethink the whole concept, and these are some of the ideas.
Okay. I'm going to try to be even quicker than everyone else.
So I want to just give the perspective of someone who used to work with Novak and Will and used to have access to this amazing web team and infrastructure on campus. And then I moved to an institution which was full of great ideas and lots of people ready to do interesting things, but we didn't have that capacity in place. So what do you do if you don't have someone like Novak or someone like Jim and his team and Tim and people like that on hand to help you build these amazing places? A really important thing to remember about these kind of platforms. So this particular site, this came out of the ongoing Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Canada has a really shameful history about First Nations and residential schools, and really better not go into it. And the instructor was creating this quite amazing summertime initiative of art and reconciliation and bringing First Nations artists into campus and building things and hooking that into the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And he wanted a way to, first of all, capture this activity and also extend what was going on with parallel activities that were happening across the country and also just promote this stuff around the world. And he wanted it to be something, in his exact words was, he said, I don't want to create a controlled space. I want an open learning platform that people can come into, that offers an invitation for people to come and to participate. So I just want to point out, these are kind of process things in the interest of time. I'd be happy to talk more about the specific thing. Just a couple really important things to realize. We got, because again, we didn't have the team to do this at TRU, but for a very small amount of money, like we were able to hire Alan Levine to come in and kind of do some tweaks with WordPress, where he built out some stuff that I hadn't really got my hands dirty in a long time. I'd really come to depend on people like Novak. But allowing people to very easily syndicate their own open websites into this environment, to contribute content and materials to the site just with an email, which was an incredible, powerful lever for extending the invitation for people to contribute. They didn't need to learn to use WordPress or any other platform. They could literally write an email, put in videos, add whatever links they want, hit the send button, and it actually formatted quite beautifully. So it really extended the participation. But the final piece I just really want to point out to as well, and so as a result, we started to see sites. So this was an initiative of a very similar kind of initiative around reconciliation happening in Saskatchewan. And Leslie, 1% Yellow on Twitter, when she caught wind of this, her work just started to kind of be incorporated into the xMOOC framework, which actually delighted her and was extending this work to new readers and complementary people around the country. And again, through various mechanisms, really extended and incorporated this work. And it really happened more or less on the fly. And I guess the final piece just that was so important in terms of building capacity is Alan didn't just do the work and walked away. He wrote this incredibly detailed blog post going into extensive detail on every single plugin he did, the configurations, the little quirks that didn't quite work the first time. So as a result, I've been able to take the work from this one xMOOC example, and in about 10 different contexts, I've had instructors come to me, and I've been able to use the tricks that Alan brought out here, and I can go into the system and actually build up the plugins and configurations. And basically, you could build an xMOOC of your own with any of the features that you see with the open reflective process that Alan built here, extremely cheaply. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my TRU colleague, Erwin, who's got a quick recitation here about OER University, which just launched last week at TRU.
This isn't even a recitation, it's a reading, which goes in fact against almost all my principles. The OERU, Open Education Resource University, the intention behind that, and I can't spend much time, I could talk about it for an hour, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. And if not, just Google it and you'll find a lot of information. But our goal here is trying to build, it's a collaboration of, at this point, 30 different universities around the world and 4 non-teaching institutions, to create courses that can actually lead to credentials and formal degrees. It's a long-term prospect, but the whole concept behind it is being open as possible. And so, as one of our own contributions, we repurposed from the university, several of us, repurposed a course that already was an OER. It was originally a course that was developed Washington State Open Course Project. It was repurposed by Saylor as well as various others. So we took that, we thought we would repurpose that again. So it's getting this lineage of reuse. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you something. It's just an excerpt from the information that we give to anybody who wants to engage with this course. And it's in the course manual. I know that sounds kind of coursey, but we actually are trying to provide course experiences that will actually be accepted and recognized by other institutions who are members of this partnership for credit. So ways to engage with this course. You are invited to engage with this course for any reason, in any way you wish. Here are a few possibilities for your own interest and enjoyment. Read all or any part of it at your own pace in whatever order you want for your own enjoyment and learning. Challenge yourself with any or all of the activities and assignments. Join with others in a small class, either locally or online, to work together and share your work and exploration with others. Maybe you can find an artist or a local artist, someone who works at an art gallery, or another community volunteer to work with you to develop your study group. Share your thoughts and interact with other learners by posting comments on your blog, forum, or Twitter posts. And there's a fantastic aggregation facility in the wiki itself. The wiki is based on MediaWiki, and it's called Wiki Educator. So all the tools and capacities that are being built up in your project are all contributing to the larger commons. And remember, these are students that may come from anywhere in the world with any kind of context whatsoever, including lack of access to much of the digital resources that we have, other than maybe through mobile. So for credit, study the course more formally, setting up a study schedule that fits your lifestyle and circumstances. Work through the activities and assignments or join in with the scheduled offering of the course. The important thing at this point is to do your coursework in such a way that if you wish to seek credit, you are able to show completed coursework, demonstrate that the work is your own and not copied or written by someone else. Approach an OERU partner college or university that will consider your work for credit. That college or university may require additional work, such as an exam along with submission of your assignment work, and may contact you to verify your identity and ensure that the coursework you submit is your own. This course, as it stands, is only a beginning. It has already gone through several revisions by others since its original release, and the course designers and editors would like to see this version continue. For example, we would like to see more examples of art from different cultures around the world, adaptations or translations for different contexts, new ideas for learning activities and assessments. As this is an OERU course, if you sign up as a Wiki Educator member, you can make comments or suggestions under the discussion tabs of each of the course pages. Your feedback is welcome. There's a page where you can provide that welcome. For communicating with others, if you are studying this course along with a larger group or in a more formal class setting, you will have opportunities to share ideas and collaborate with these learners in addition to the open online students. There are a number of tools that you can use for this purpose. We'll get into that. And then a note to the course faculty member or leader or volunteer or whoever else wants to step forward and help facilitate learning using this course. You, as an educator, are invited to adopt or adapt this course for your own uses. Possibilities include a traditional face-to-face classroom, a blended or online educational setting, and a community setting. A group of students may work through the course as a cohort and collaborate on activities and assignments. The structure of these forms of engagement is up to the skills and experience of the educational leader. Do it, it's good. Yeah. Thus you will notice, for the open.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to read the final piece here. Any suggestions for improvements to this course are welcome. Thanks to the Creative Commons license, you are free to adapt, reuse, remix, repurpose, and translate this course for any other purposes that meet the needs of your institution or learners, just as we have done. Feel free to pass it on.
Okay, so at the risk of completely compressing all this, when I found out that Jim and Tim were going to be here, I really wanted them to at least have a little bit of the session because the work they're doing actually is building out the infrastructure that's allowed. For example, the RMOOC is built on Hippie Hosting, which is a collective that Tim's supporting, and the work that they're doing with Domain One's Own and stuff. So I just really want to give them a few minutes here at the end. Well, 1 minute. Do you guys want to, because you guys are going to be doing an installation, do you want to just do a pitch for what you're going to be sharing as you're here?
Yeah, sure.
In terms of what you're doing?
Absolutely. Tim, I'll talk for a second. 1 second. The installation has nothing to do with, it's an art piece. If you like art, come to the installation. I'm an artist. Damn it. More generally though, quickly, what is all this work for? This is about open architecture. This is about an idea that a group of people at Baruch, at UBC, right, around the country, around the world, have been building these spaces to actually share. And George Siemens, that bastard, came up with the idea that I got paraphrased through Brian Lamb, that why are we building systems? Why are we not building syndication hubs that allow us to bring this content that people are doing into an experience that people can share? I don't care about license. I don't care how you license your work. What I want to see is people interacting in a creative way online together. And if we don't build open architecture that allows us to do it, however you license it, however you imagine it, however you market it, doesn't matter. That's why we built
Just waiting for it. All right, so 30 seconds, and we're gonna go right through this. We got Bluehost accounts when we were working with ETLT 6 years ago. After we got Bluehost accounts, we realized it would be great for students to get Bluehost accounts, but why not just become Bluehost? So we did umwdomains.com so that we could become Bluehost, and then we built out a framework through umwdomains.com because it's a disparate space where every student gets their own domain and web hosting, so that we could build that back into a community. So on umwdomains.com, there's actually a directory where we pull in every single website, install it on that server, every single post that's written by every single student, attach it back to their work, and we're starting to build out a larger community through that. And then Jim and I took it one step further and decided that if we could build a Bluehost experiment and build a Bluehost for ourselves at Washington, why couldn't we do it for everyone? So Reclaim Hosting is the ability for you to get a space of your own and a domain of your own to begin doing the same type of sandbox work that we're talking about right here, to just start experimenting and playing around and throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing if it might stick.
Exactly. And Dr. Oblivion talks about the summit tomorrow in the installation lab.
Okay, so we've gone over time. I want to apologize to my co-presenters for the compressed time frame, and I want to apologize to you for the rather disjointed nature of this presentation. But what I think there's a lot of amazing stories about what open platforms and open tools can do, and the capacity that offers us to offer truly open educational experiences to people, and I hope you'll take the opportunity to talk to some of these people in the next few days. Thank you for your time.